Under the clear blue sky, the horse-drawn carriage rattled along a dusty track, passing through a dense forest. Sunlight streamed through the leaves, creating dancing shafts of light on the path. Inside the carriage, Shirone sat opposite Tamaran, his eyes showing a hint of surprise. Oh, young Master Rai has officially been recognized, has he? The assistant butler, Tamaran, calmly nodded. That's right. He just received his level 10 certification and says he's busy on the front lines. Miss Reina has become the conductor of the kingdom's 7th Symphony Orchestra. The master is as busy as ever, and the elder has retired and returned to Crease. Hearing this, Shirone suddenly remembered, I heard that your older brother Rian is also there. How is he? The atmosphere in the car suddenly grew tense. Tamaran's expression turned serious, and he chose his words carefully. I can't comment on that, other than that he's an officially certified 6th grade swordsman. It's best not to mention him at headquarters. Shirone froze, eyes wide. Oh, is that so? He thought to himself. So, basically he's been ostracized? No, the master loves his children very much. If that's the case, there might be some political issue involved. Shirone's blue eyes held a determined glint, his mind still preoccupied with his older brother. I wonder how Rian is doing. Somehow, I feel like I'll see him again soon. In the peaceful countryside setting, with lush green trees and distant rolling mountains, Tamaran stood there, lost in thought. We haven't received any news from him for half a year now. Hearing this, Shirone could only chuckle softly, ha ha ha. That's just like him. Shirone, carrying a leather briefcase, pushed open the door and froze. The scene inside left him speechless. He could only manage a bewildered, huh? In the middle of the room, beside a round wooden table laden with food and beer jugs, Rian and his father Vincent were excitedly clinking glasses. Ryan joyfully exclaimed, Dad, this pork is amazing. Of course, Dad. Ha 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 ha. Vincent laughed heartily in reply, Of course. Pork is the best with beer. Mutton is too strong. Come on, let's have another drink. Witnessing the unbelievable sight, Shirone stammered. Rian? Father? What's happening here? Seeing Shirone, Rian joyfully called out, Shirone! Vincent immediately rushed over, embracing his son tightly. Oh, my son, are you all right? Shirone struggled in his father's arms, which reeked of alcohol, screaming, Ah! You smell all of alcohol, father. No sooner had Shirone arrived home than her father Vincent embraced her so fiercely she felt suffocated. Sweat beaded on her forehead as a dazed Shirone thought, Wait, what just happened? I was really looking forward to our first reunion in 6 months. Asterisk. Confused, he wondered why Ryan was at his house when Vincent excitedly explained, his voice full of pride. He's been waiting for you here for 2 days. He even helped us chop wood and hunt. Didn't he? Standing in the cozy room, Rian puffed out his chest, happily punched it, and laughed loudly, He, men should hunt. Hearing the noise, Olena stepped out, surprised, calling, Shirone. Mom, Shirone exclaimed joyfully, quickly breaking free from her father's embrace and rushing to hug her mother tightly. Olena gently hugged her son, her voice warm, Come here, my son. Burying her face in her mother's soft shoulder, Shirone asked expectantly, Everyone at home will have a hard time while I'm gone, won't they? Olena gently stroked his head, smiling and replying, What are you saying, Tilda? When you were away, the Ogent family helped us a lot. Right. This is the kind of reunion I wanted, Shirone thought to himself, feeling relieved. Seeing the emotional scene, Vincent cleared his throat awkwardly, receiving a reproaching glance from Olena for drinking when his son had just arrived. After a warm moment, Shirone turned, looked straight at Rian, and asked, Rian, I heard you haven't been in contact with your family. In the cozy wooden house, Shirone looked down at her friend sprawled on the floor. Did you stop by the main house? Why should I? Rian retorted, a hint of smugness in his voice. My master's house is my house. It's a joke. Shirone narrowed her eyes, noticing Rian's flustered expression and the beads of sweat on his forehead. What have you done? Realizing she could hide it no longer, Shirone thought, oh my. It's not that he doesn't want to go home, but that he can't. To get out of the awkward situation, Ryan abruptly stood up, turned to Vincent, and shouted, Dad, now's not the time. Let's go chop wood. Vincent, brimming with energy, immediately responded. He excitedly raised his fist to the sky and shouted, Let's go. Let's us men have some quality time. Standing nearby, Olena looked extremely startled by her husband's outburst. What are you doing after drinking like that? Go upstairs and sleep. Shirone sighed softly, unconsciously adjusting his collar. Oh, well, it's been a long time anyway, he thought to himself. He turned to his worried mother and offered a reassuring smile. It's okay, Mom. We'll be right back. Climbing a mountain after drinking alcohol is extremely dangerous. Olena remained worried. Don't worry, Shirone softly replied, expertly tightening her belt, ready for an involuntary evening of exertion. In the cozy atmosphere, Shirone smiled radiantly, announcing her return. I'm home. Olena froze, her brown eyes wide with astonishment. She blinked, trying to believe what she was seeing. Everything was all right, perhaps because her son was here. But she couldn't stop the torrent of thoughts flooding her mind. Only half a year apart, yet Shirone looked like a completely different person. The maturity and confidence radiating from him filled her with both joy and a sense of strangeness. Under the blazing midday sun, the group ventured into the dense forest. Ryan, shouldering a large axe, eagerly approached Shirone with a mischievous grin. He excitedly proposed, Shirone, let's make a bet. The loser obeys the winner. Whoever fells the tree with the fewest axe blows wins. Shirone blushed slightly, then asked again in confusion, huh? He looked up at the clear blue sky, and a distant memory suddenly flooded back. It seems, when I was little, I once made a similar bet with my father. Amidst the majestic mountains and vast expanse of greenery, a resounding crash shattered the silence. The sharp sound of a powerful blow snapped a branch, sending birds scattering into the sky. The competition had officially begun. A loud whoosh shattered the forest's silence, sending leaves rustling. Shirone jumped in surprise. What? Wow, he exclaimed, his eyes glued to the rough tree trunk before him. A deep, complex gouge like a magical symbol had been carved into it with a single blow. That's a schema? Rian, shouldering a massive battle axe, burst into hearty laughter. Ha 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 ha, no way. You don't need a schema to chop down a tree. He gripped the axe handle, the muscles bulging on his strong arms. With a confident grin, Rian stretched, placing the axe behind his neck as if warming up. But, I'm just warming up, he exclaimed excitedly. Instantly, he swung the axe high above his head and brought it down with terrifying force. The swing was so fast and powerful that the surrounding air seemed to compress. Shirone stood frozen, completely stunned by the display of pure power. His eyes widened. A bead of cold sweat trickled down his temple as he realized the nature of the technique. He gasped, his voice barely audible, "Thunderbolt strike!" A deafening boom shook the entire forest. Rian put all his strength into the blow, his battle axe arcing perfectly to strike the massive ancient tree. Brilliant golden energy erupted from the point of impact, spreading in spiderweb cracks before shattering the tree into countless fragments that flew through the sunlight. From afar, Shirone stared in astonishment. He stood frozen, his eyes wide with shock, sweat beading on his temples. His voice trembled in disbelief. Ryan, you've learned swordsmanship. Standing proudly on the ruins, Ryan turned, a triumphant and radiant smile blooming on his face. He shouted, his voice echoing with immense pride, Yes, yes! I'm not the same as I used to be. But that self-satisfied expression quickly vanished as he turned away. Rian's shoulders trembled slightly, his teeth clenched as anxious sweat broke out. A wave of relief, tinged with tension, washed over him. Whoosh! I did it. Awesome. I was so worried about what I'd do if I failed. That lightning strike Shirone used on me last time. No, it was sword slash. I've learned my father's secret technique, asterisk. The memory of grueling practice and the fear of failure faded, leaving only the satisfaction of success. Under the dense shade of the forest, Rian gasped for breath, his hands on the ground, yet a triumphant smile bloomed on his lips. Vincent crouched down, scrutinizing the noble boy. That's what I asked, he began. Rian, how did you manage the thunderbolt technique? Yes, Rian exclaimed excitedly. He couldn't hide his pride, thinking to himself, all that extra hard work today paid off. Ha 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 ha. Vincent stood up, arms crossed, and looked at Ryan with satisfaction. He mused about his son's friend, a truly good friend. He's not stubborn despite being a nobleman, and he politely asked to be taught. Furthermore, he possesses the perseverance to never give up until he succeeds. Then he turned to Shirone, who had been silently observing. See, Shirone, I told you it wouldn't be easy. You still thought you could win? Shiro answered calmly, his blue eyes unwavering. I don't know. To win, I'll have to take it down in a single blow. Hearing that, Ryan immediately brought his large battle axe. Here, use my axe. It's okay. It's okay. Shirone gently refused, slipping past. He walked straight to a large, gnarled old tree. Vincent and Rian both stared, bewildered, wondering what he intended to do. Shirone placed his hand on the rough bark and slowly closed his eyes. An ethereal green aura emanated from his body, swirling around him. Nearby leaves trembled and then floated in the air. When Shirone opened his eyes, his pupils glowed a vibrant, powerful turquoise, signaling an impending spell. In the silent stillness of the forest, Vincent and Ryan stood frozen, their eyes wide with astonishment. What just happened? Vincent muttered, unable to believe what he was seeing. A sudden, unusually strong gust of wind sprang up, causing Ryan to exclaim, "The wind!" Before a gigantic ancient tree, Shirone calmly placed a hand on its rough bark. A green aura, carrying the power of a raging storm, began to emanate from his palm. A swirling vortex of air converged into an invisible blade. A dry crack echoed as the sharp wind blade effortlessly sliced through the tree trunk. The immense tree paused for a moment before crashing to the ground with a earth-shattering sound, sending dust and debris flying everywhere. As the dust settled, only the tree stump remained, its surface smooth and flat. Shirone, radiant with joy, raised a fist to the sky and shouted, "I won!" Still reeling in shock, Ryan stammered, What kind of magic is that?" Shirone turned back, proudly held up 2 fingers in a victory sign, and grinned, replying, "Hee, it's called Wind Cutter." Vincent knelt, his mouth agape in astonishment at the scene before him. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he stammered, "Lord, this is magic?" I thought it was just some kind of interesting circus trick. It seems we no longer need to worry about relying on wood. Standing beside him, Shirone let out a hearty laugh, a confident expression on her face. "Of course, just leave it all to me, Father." Quietly observing from afar, Ryan couldn't hide his astonishment. He thought to himself, unbelievable. Only half a year, and a determined smile spread across Ryan's lips. His cheeks flushed slightly, and his heart beat excitedly in his chest. He looked up at the clear blue sky, his conviction growing stronger. "I knew it. I was right from the start." In the vast forest bathed in the twilight, Shirone playfully commanded, "All right, my order to Ryan is to move that pile of wood." From the ground, Ryan grumbled in reply, I was going to do that anyway." Night fell, and the 2-story wooden house glowed with warm light. Smoke rose from the chimney, creating a peaceful and cozy scene. Inside, the whole family and Ryan gathered around a lavish dinner table in front of a roaring fireplace. Merry laughter mingled with the crackling of the fire, concluding a long day with sweet rewards. Dinner took place in a warm and cheerful atmosphere. Around a lavish table laden with golden roast chicken and freshly baked bread, Shirone and Ryan happily chatted with their hospitable hosts, their laughter filling the room. As night fell, enveloping the old house, the 2 friends returned to their bedroom. Faint moonlight filtered through the window, illuminating the quiet room. Breaking the silence, Ryan suddenly spoke from the adjacent bed, his voice full of surprise. "You're going to Gallen Island too?" Shirone, resting his head on a pillow, calmly replied, I want to investigate a place called the Kurgo Ruins." "What? Is it because of your studies?" Ryan asked, still surprised. Shiro turned to his friend, smiled, and said, "It'll be all right if we go play for a bit. After all, you did say it was a famous tourist spot." Hearing that, Ryan immediately jumped out of bed, his face filled with extreme excitement. "Yes, really? Great." But then Ryan's excitement suddenly plummeted. His face fell. A bead of anxious sweat trickled down his temple as he stammered, "But are my conditions all right?" "That you have to bring a girl." Shirone was stunned by this unexpected condition. He muttered, "A double date. Who would have thought you'd have a girlfriend when you returned from the Swordsmanship Academy?" In his dorm room, Ryan tried to appear nonchalant as he spoke to Shirone, but his nervousness was evident on his face. "Shirone, are you studying properly? It's suspicious that you came here instead of going straight home." Shirone calmly asked back, "Then just tell me straight, do you have anyone to go with?" Hitting the nail on the head, Ryan jumped, stammering in response, "Oh my God, it's nothing. Forget it. Besides, she's not my girlfriend." Ryan secretly observed Shirone, who was lounging comfortably on the bed, his mind a whirlwind of calculations. There it is, the biggest obstacle in this plan, asterisk, he thought, recalling his friend's personality. Shirone is an idiot who wouldn't even dare look his witch sister in the eye. He's that timid, I'm sure he won't be able to find a partner. Honestly, how could he even get to know a girl? If he doesn't find anyone, I'll have to tell Tez the truth, asterisk. Just as Ryan was lost in thought, Shirone suddenly spoke. His bright blue eyes widened, reflecting an unusual decisiveness. "If you won't, I understand." He shot up in bed, his gaze firm and fixed on the bewildered Ryan. "I'll bring someone, a girlfriend." Shirone's unexpected declaration hit Ryan like a bolt of lightning. He froze, cold sweat pouring down his face. his mouth agape in utter horror. His plan had completely crumbled. Meanwhile, outside the door, Vincent and Olena, who had been eavesdropping, shared the same stunned expression.